Dividing by one can be very tricky for many students. We want to make sure we're providing them context to help think their way through the situations. In fact, many students, when you ask them just the straight expression of 5 divided by 1, they either might not know or they might give you an incorrect answer. But if you provide it to them in context, they'll get it right. So we want to make that connection so that they know the context that they can use and even make up their own when given an expression they don't quite know what that answer it from their memory yet. So here is the strategy again, dividing by a 1, but I'm using the model of a rec and rec to help making this thinking visible. So Sue wanted to store her collection of dolls in one cabinet. If she has 5 dolls, how many dolls will there be in the cabinet? So here I have a rec and rec. You'll notice that they're all slid on the right-hand side. That means that none of them are in play yet. We slide to the left, the ones that are in play. And it turns out that Sue has 5 dolls. So I'm going to slide over the 5. You'll notice the color coding always helping our students' brains benchmark to 5 and 10. And so I know that's 5. I can slide that over in one slide rather than counting one by one. So concretely, I now have 5 dolls and they're going into one cabinet. So there must be 5 in that cabinet. Some students prefer to enter tasks in a pictorial way. So perhaps they're imagining one cabinet and they're going to put 5 of those dolls that are inside. And so the question would be, how many ended up in one of those cabinets? Well, it is the 5. Now, as we go to more of a tape diagram type model, I have one cabinet. What I don't know is how many are in each cabinet. Now, there is only one cabinet, so all of them have to go inside. It has to be that 5. There are 5 dolls in all. They're put into one cabinet, which means that there are 5 in that cabinet. As we go to the abstract, I can represent that by saying 5, and I'm going to be dividing that by the one cabinet. How many ended up in each? Well, it was the 5. Now, we also can be encouraging students to think about the related multiplication problem. That 5 divided by 1 means that 1 times something equals 5. This is actually the research showing that the students rely very heavily on that for all the multiplication math facts. So you can begin introducing that idea about thinking multiplication right here with dividing by 1. Now, keeping this strategy and the model the same, the different context is going to be this quotative division where I know the size of the group. I just don't know how many groups it is in all. So if Sue has pops and she gave one to each friend, how many friends could she give a lollipop? And so entering this task concretely, knowing that Sue has 5 lollipops, a student might slide over those 5 lollipops, but if they're giving one to each friend, perhaps they separate them out to say, okay, that would be one friend, another friend, a third friend, a fourth friend, and a fifth friend. So they're just visibly being able to see with this concrete tool that they end up being 5 groups, each having one. Other students prefer to enter tasks in a pictorial way. So perhaps they might think about drawing a picture of this. And so they might even start off by drawing like something that looks like a lollipop, right? So I have one lollipop, I have a second one, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. And each friend will be getting one of them. So I know that there will be 5 friends that I can give a lollipop to. As we move to a tape diagram type model, I know that I have a friend that can get one lollipop. And so I can copy that because I know that I have 5 lollipops. So here would be a second lollipop. And here would be a third friend getting a lollipop, and a fourth friend getting a lollipop, and then a fifth friend getting a lollipop. I know that there are 5 lollipops in all. So I might in my model label, well, friend 1 would get 1, friend 2 gets 1, friend 3 gets 1, friend 4 gets 1, and friend 5 gets 1. And I know that there were 5 in all, so 5 lollipops in all. And so how many were there? How many friends was I able to give a lollipop to? It would be that 5. So abstractly, I can be recording this as the 5. And I was dividing it by the 1, the amount for each friend, and that was able to give away 5 of them. Remember, we also want to make sure that we're putting the answers on the left-hand side of the equal sign so students can recognize it. It only looks tricky because it's unfamiliar. So the more familiar we make it, the less tricky it will look for our students. And once again, of course, we can always be relating this to that multiplication situation that 1 times something must be 5. So I know that it must be the 5.